Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Jeff Ahern Show. Thank you for tuning in. Lots of fun stuff going on today. Let's just get the plugs out of the way. I'm on Cameo. I think I told you that already, but I'm officially on Cameo. I just did my first one, so I'm excited about that. Hopefully they like it. I'll be doing my second Cameo. But yeah, if you would like someone to be roasted, friend, family, acquaintance, enemy, stranger, doesn't matter, hit me up on Cameo. My voice will be better. Jeff Ahern, political commentator, comedian, etc. And I'll do that for you. Also, check me out one more time at jeffahern.com. Oh my God, really? Right at the beginning of the show. All right, clearing it up.
Hey, Jeff, since you're clearing up things, I've got to ask you a quick question so that you can clear it up further and everything. Because, as the de facto program director here and all along those lines, I need to know whether we have a agreement with Starbucks, because I saw the cup and I'm going like, wait a minute, do we get any money from Starbucks and all along those lines? Because if so, we need to get some money from them, because it did look like a Starbucks cup. It might have been another coffee company, but
no, I don't know. We can't get my voice going on. I know what's going on. But I need some money from Starbucks. I'll still drink it, but I'd like a kickback if Starbucks could spare it, which I think they can. I feel like they have some pretty big coffers.
No, I think Starbucks can definitely afford it. They got those coffees and everything. I know you're going to get to some serious news, but we were talking on the World Edition earlier, and I've got to ask you the question since you're a comedian. I had Jacoby, who's a more liberal friend of mine, is on, and we've all agreed that it doesn't make much sense and everything. But there is a animal that was loose in Berlin. I think they finally found it. It was a alleged lioness. But now when I was reading the articles, they are saying that there was some confusion as to whether it was a lioness or a wild boar. I've seen both animals, not in person, but they look vastly different. So how do you confuse a lion and a boar if you're out in the streets of Berlin? Because I'm still trying to figure this out, and maybe you can help me, because lionesses and boars do not look anything alike.
No, I think the secret is you have to put a big box out, and if the lion gets in it and just kind of plays around a little, then it's in the cat family. That's a lion. A boar is just going to rip through that. Just start chewing on it. That's what I would do.
That sounds like a good plan. I like this plan. So
I wouldn't want to be the guy laying the box in case it's the lion, but
you don't want to be attacked by the lion. But I don't know if you want to be attacked by the wild boar either. So you could be putting yourself in jeopardy either way.
I like my odds better with the boar.
You like your odds better with the boar?
A lot better. The boar will gore me and then run off. The lion will kill me.
Now, you know what I was talking to Toby? He was showing me some clips, and you'll love this. It was actually apparently, and there are political people even on the liberal side that don't need to be doing presidential or debates and everything. I know we've talked about the word salad that Kamala has had and all of that space, but this is even worse, because he showed me some clips of the testimony from RFK. And all I can say is that RFK did not do well in those testimonies and was getting grilled hard and was not doing a good job of
all over the place.
His views are. Whether you agree with the views or not around the vaccine, definitely he was not making a good appearance from a standpoint of public imagery and everything, because there was definitely some hard questions that he was evading and avoiding, and it was not a pretty picture in my mind. And people kept reclaiming their 15 seconds. I don't know if you keep reclaiming it that you could ever totally reclaim that time. It's kind of like, this is just going to be my bad attempt at humor. I do not claim to be a comedian like either you or Jacoby, but it's like that bad relationship that you were in and you wish that you could go reclaim the time that you lost in the relationship. You can't really reclaim it because it's gone, and in some cases you might have spent multiple years and everything. Because if that's the case, because I kept hearing the congressional woman saying, I'm reclaiming my 15 seconds and reclaiming this. So I want to know, can I go back? Because I've had some good relationships, and then I've had some bad relationships too. So for the bad relationships, can I go back and reclaim those 7 or 8 years? Because birthday was recent, and I would like to reclaim them, because I probably added up to 7 or 8 years that were not that pretty.
You got to stay up at night. Every other night, you have to stay up for 24 hours to get the time back. But then it's like not really great quality time, because you're groggy. But that's the only way to get back. It's just less sleep.
Less sleep. I don't think you can reclaim it. You just have to put it in that category of life lessons learned. So, like I said, hopefully you learn lessons, even though you are a married man. And I do know that sometimes we keep making the same mistake over and over. They say that's the definition of insanity, even in relationships. But hey, sometimes you just like certain natures of people, and sometimes you know that they are not good for you. You know, just like you know that sometimes people are not good in the sense of their personality or the sense of certain foods we eat, certain personality types may not be good for you, but they're fun while you're in the middle of it. But you just know the torture that you are putting yourself up for, and all along those lines. I'm gonna get off of here, but I did have one other quick non-news thought that I was going to share with you. I was on Clubhouse, and the young woman that was talking to some friends of hers in there, and I was listening, and I chimed in at some point or another, was talking about the swinger things that she had gone to, because I think she had worked at some point or another at some swinger events, actually, ironically, out there in California. And one of the things that she observed, well, one, she said that she was doing it when she was going to college, and I think she's in her 40s now, but it was a way to make money because people, as she put it, pay a lot of money, like maybe a few $100s, to have their privacy. So they liked that privacy. But she was shocked at some of the people from her church, lawyers and doctors that were in that kind of community. And some of them were in their 50s or 60s when she was in her 20s. So I think sometimes people have a misconception because of Hollywood of what the swinger parties are like. And it might just be a bunch of scroungy old guys and women that are having their horn out. But what is your thoughts?
That's what you described is what it is. I mean, it's like a nudist beach. You're like, ooh, a nudist beach. And then you go out there and you're like, all right, I'll go to the regular beach. There's a bunch of people naked. I don't want to see naked. Now, if you're like a Hunter Biden, you go to a sex club where they probably have some, maybe they do, maybe they don't, maybe more higher standards on, how hot everybody is who's naked.
Maybe they got some higher standards, but that's kind of what she was alluding to, because she said that people, and this, because the lady was from another country, I think she was from Peru, but she had observed that people will pay a lot of money for their privacy. So they did not mind paying a lady $500 a night, literally, to serve the drink. So she didn't even have to do any of the sex acts or anything. This was what she was making as a bartender, because they knew that discretion is the better part of valor, I think is the old quote and everything. So they knew that if they hired and it screened the person and knew that they weren't going to rush their information to the National Enquirer or some of the other publications, that they didn't mind paying $500 or maybe even $1,000 for somebody to serve the drinks and be a bartender.
That's
if
how
they
you know
knew that the person was going to be quiet. So that might have been what was going on there, even with Jeff Epstein and some of the other people that have attracted both Republicans and Democrats and a number of other folks to their.
That's how you know
they have some folks paying some pretty decent money.
That's how you know they weren't real hot, like celebrity types, because you get a lot more for the information than $500. But if it's just your local dentist, the TMZ is not going to be like, yeah, you're good. We don't really need that story. The $500 was good. You're lucky to get it.
Yeah, but I'm sorry. I have a cousin that years ago, and I forget what she does now. It's a regular job, but she was a bartender. But I'm pretty sure it was a bartender at one of our local clubs here in Durham. I'm pretty sure she didn't make $500 a night as a bartender and everything. So I don't know what the going rate is in California. I know a lot of actors who are still struggling because of that strike are working in bartenders and restaurants, but I'm thinking they're not making $500. So when she said that she made $500 at this particular event, I was actually surprised at that cost and everything. But hey, that's some good money. And if you're going to college, imagine say she only did, let's say, an event every weekend, or let's say 2 events a weekend. That's $1,000. That's about $4,000 a month. Yeah, I think that you can pretty much pay for your college with those kind of rates and everything.
Maybe I need to take up bartending at swinger parties.
Might be a new career for you. On that note, I'm bounce out. If you say anything crazy about the Democrats, I might pop back in, but I just couldn't resist the boy and the lioness and the bartender story. I
always say crazy things about Democrats. That's my job. Well, they provide the material, and then I just point it out. I don't make it up. All right, so Mark was talking about Ted Kennedy. I feel like Ted Kennedy. Chappaquiddick anniversary was just recently. Oh my God, Robert Kennedy. Thank you. There's too many Kennedys. I get them all confused, but I'm starting to sound like him a little bit. Okay, scathing rebuke. I'm going to try and work my voice here. Scathing rebuke. I'll whisper talk today. scathing rebuke intensifies over Department of Justice alleged scheme to conceal Biden bribery allegations. So you got Biden corrupt as hell, the Department of Justice corrupt as hell. I mean, that's what this title is. It's a scheme by the Department of Justice. Supposedly, the words "justice" is in there in the title, but clearly it's not one at the high end of their priorities. And so they're covering up for him. It's the Department of Cover-ups if you're Joe Biden and his son, and it's all coming out. All the evidence is there, and we're also bummed out, at least Republicans, when we didn't get the House. When we didn't get the Senate and the House, but we got the House, and because we got the House, we can do this now. We can look at all this evidence. We can subpoena all this evidence. We can conduct hearings, hold hearings, and see just the ugly, festering corruption that is our Department of Justice, that is our FBI, etc. Oh my gosh! So yeah, it's a train wreck. It needs to be clear cut. It needs to happen. All right.
It's
I'm
me
gonna have to
again.
cut out Mark. I can't even talk.
It's me again. Speaking of something happening and all along those lines, I did read an interesting article where Nikki was using RFK as a backdrop for her wanting to get Trump onto the debate stage, because she was saying that, of course, she wants to talk about issues around the border and around schools and around the fact that I guess North Korea has the potential for nuclear weapons and China already has them. And there's a lot of other issues that she wanted to bring up, including the investigations, because she's feeling that the investigations are a distraction. But she used the parallel, and I know this is going to shock you, but the parallel was RFK, because she was saying that if Trump is avoiding the stages and not going to be on the stages, but isn't that the same thing that RFK is facing with Biden? Because you were saying that both of them need to get on the stage with their contenders. So she made that parallel, and it could be a legitimate parallel. But what is your thoughts?
I think Trump will get on the stage, but he wants it on his terms. But I can't. Trump loves being on stage. Trump loves it. He thrives in it. He's at his best in it, when he's just bagging on people. So I feel like he will be definitely on the stage. He's going to want some parameters or some concessions, let's say, where he stands and, with camera angles. I don't know. And then once he gets it, I'm sure he'll be on the stage. I mean, that's primetime Trump. That's soundbite city. He'll be there.
Hopefully we'll see him there, and hopefully he'll be there. I know he's already floated, and I don't know your thoughts about it, but he's floated to potential vice presidents, and both of them have good qualities about him. But I think he's floated the gentleman that is the Indian gentleman that is a presidential opponent as being a great business person, and he's also said that Tim Scott is a great guy. So he didn't necessarily say that either one of them would be the vice president, but he kind of gave implications that they might be on the list of potentials that he might look at and everything. So I know that you might be fans of both of them, and I've seen some good things about Tim, and I've even seen some strong business about the Indian gentleman whose name is slipping me and everything, but he is a strong business pioneer and all along those lines. But definitely be interesting.
Yeah, the only one I feel like, there's a few who could cut and run, but Pence, get him out. He's not going to do anything just to waste the time. Christie, please get him out. Taking up space, a lot of space. And sorry, couldn't resist. And there's probably a few others, but those two, I feel like kick them off right away. They're just wasting time. But the rest are decent. Yeah, I like Haley. I love DeSantis. You got Trump, of course. And then you got the two you just mentioned are both good. They're all solid. And I know I think there's 12 of them right now. I can't remember all of them. So anyway,
no, it's 13. It's 13. You added your name to the list. Remember, you're 13.
I know. I remember. We went over it before, but I still can't remember them all. I think I remember 6, maybe half of them.
Yeah, maybe half of them. I hope that you remember your own candidacy, because we have declared here on Pod TV that you are running and everything. So we've got to get you to get some campaign stops. I know that you're campaigning there in California. I personally think that this is my personal thoughts, and correct me if I'm wrong, but last week we didn't do the show because you had a appointment with your son, and it had to do with medicine and with
got to get his vaccine, or he can't go to school.
Vaccines. But hey, Jeff, Stop trying to fool us. I know what happened. You were having a secret meeting. You told me with the vaccines and everything. It was a secret meeting with the California doctors lobby. I told you you're running for president, and you were actually meeting with the doctors lobby to get their endorsement. So just go ahead and admit it. You were meeting with the doctors lobby.
Everybody needs a vaccine now, twice a week. We'll let you know what they are, and you always have to get them. And then I just keep getting money from Big Pharma, and you just keep getting poisoned.
Like I said, I know you were having that meeting.
How the game works.
Yep, that's what the whole thing was. It was a meeting there and everything. I'm trying to arrange right now because I have cousins in Charlotte. I told you that Durham is a liberal town, so I don't know that we're going to have the first North Carolina stop of the Jeff Ahern campaign in Durham or Raleigh, but I'm going to talk to my cousins down in Charlotte, and we're going to see if we can have a campaign stop in Charlotte. We're still trying to figure out what we're doing with our mayoral race because we've got some other people that just entered into it. A state legislature, Mike Woodard just entered into our mayor race here in Durham. And then apparently two of the folks that were fighting, because remember I told you that there was some bickering and some yelling and maybe even some holding of grasping each other. And some people might have even said that there were fisticuffs, even though I don't think it got that far. But there was definitely a lot of yelling. And apparently two of the folks that did the yelling, Leonardo Williams and Deanna Freeman, are two of those that have put their names in the hat for the politics. So I'm like, wait a minute, y'all are the ones that did the yelling. Now y'all gonna want to be in the race.
Publicity. They get the publicity, and then they can run.
Yeah, exactly.
Publicity. Yep.
So yes, I'll see about getting you that Charlotte stuff. So I'm gonna let you get back to the news. I'm trying to give you some time to clear the throat and all of that.
Yeah, I don't know, Mark. It might be a lost cause, but we'll try. Right. I might have to take a week off or something. Yeah. So I'm gonna just talk gently, very gently, from the diaphragm. So you got Trump setting the clock. This is on Fox. Judge rules on fate of Trump's push for indefinite delay on classified documents trial. Yeah, I mean it's a racket. The Democrats are throwing everything that they can, just making up this, that, just giving them a lot of other stuff to deal with outside of running for president. Anything to distract them, anything to smear them, anything that they can do. Meanwhile, the liberal media completely ignoring the insanely epic bribery scandal on their side, because they are leftists, of Hunter and Joe Biden and the rest of the Biden family, which is all out there. It's right there, man. It's right there. They can't hide anymore. And impeachment is a likely possibility at this point, because even if the liberal media doesn't want to cover it, even if they don't cover it, there's certainly the evidence and grounds there to do it. So it could happen. And we may have a media that's so corrupt, and they are, who doesn't even bring it up. Like there'll be an impeachment trial against Biden, which there should be. It'll be going on. It'll be heated. It'll be exciting. There'll be all this information. I mean, God, with just all the crazy Hunter porn stuff alone, very salacious. And yet they won't cover a lick of it on their evening broadcast. Or they'll still be talking about Trump on January 6th.
Yeah, just me again. I got to bring up something that Toby brought up on the show. And like I said, I'm going to be having him pop in your show one time, because he is definitely, you think I'm the liberal voice. He's even more of a liberal voice and everything. And he also comes from the world of comedy and improv. But a couple of the shows that we've had, he's actually brought up this notion that you just brought up, because he feels that it is a misnomer, because he's saying that, and I can't argue with him, but maybe you can, the biggest media outlet out there is Fox News, and Fox News is conservative. Most talk radio is conservative, and a lot of the ownership is actually conservative owners that own the company. So the notion of a liberal media, he sometimes wondered where the liberal media is, because some of the ownership is actually owned by conservative entities and all in that space. So what is your answer as a conservative to Tony? So
right now,
Mark. His answer.
This is my answer right now. Fox is killing it. They're destroying it. And you have to ask, well, why is Fox so popular? Why does Fox because people have a choice, even though it's Democrat America, we still luckily have a choice as to where they want to spend their viewing time. Why does everyone, majority, seem to gear towards Fox? Because they're getting actual real news. Even the left is getting, CNN's ratings are in the 12. They're firing people, they're cutting people, because it's not actual news, it's just propaganda. And even leftists, whether they want to admit it or not, get tired of propaganda. I mean, how many times can you hit the Trump pinata? That's their whole go-to. And while there may be Fox may be much more popular as it should be, because you're actually getting honest news, real reporting, the left has has the TV market covered. ABC, CBS, NBC, CNBC, CNN, MSNBC. It's all leftist. Reuters, you name it, it's all leftist outlets. Now, the fact that nobody wants to watch them anymore, that's on them. But they hold the lion's share of the media in terms of volume. It's leftist. Now, in terms of popularity, it's going towards Fox, but there's still less outlets. Like you have like 2 or 3 outlets. I have 2 or 3 sources for news that I can go to that I trust. Like Fox.
I definitely think you got to have multiple sources and everything. And I'll have to double check with Mr. McDuffie. That's the gentleman's name. Like I said, he's in the same lanes as you are in terms of comedy and improv. And actually, as I told you before, he does the voice of the antics both on the field for the Bulls as well as the Hurricanes, which is our hockey team, and all in that lane. So he definitely has some similar.
Wait. He does the antics? Is he the mascot? What do you mean the antics?
If you ever watch those baseball games and those things like the hockey matches, there are the contests that go on, and there is the play-by-play commentator, but there's also the play-by-play person for the activities that are going on. So here in this area, we have the Running with the Bull, which is the mascot for the Durham Bulls and everything, and there's also a sumo wrestling thing, and there are a number of other contests. So he is doing the commentating on those contests.
Sumo wrestling, you need to tell this guy that's cultural appropriation. I'm deeply offended, and it's very anti-Asian, and I want it gone. I want it stricken. I'm just one person. I don't go to any of the games, but I've decided it, and I'm going to tweet about it, and it needs to be gone by next week. Just let them know.
I'll send a link because I'm not even sure if they still do that. But if they still do it, I'll send you a link and you can make a judgment and all along those lines.
It's hysterical. I
know that a couple of times he's mentioned the facts of some of those owners that you're talking about, and I do remember because I've read some of their books that CBS and ABC and some of those other ones, their ownership in terms of who they gave money to wasn't always as liberal as you are painting it to be. So I'd have to double check where their money is going and who they are physically backing.
That all these liberal outlets are somehow not liberal. I'm giving you one of these. If you're telling me CNN is pro-Trump, I mean,
no, I'm not saying they're pro-Trump. I'm just saying, but it'd be interesting to find out where the actual owners are, and where their money goes to. And like I said, I haven't studied it, but
Mark, you might stumble on the Illuminati. And then
that could be scary if I stumble across them, because then everybody would be coming to get both of us.
Exactly. Yeah, you don't want to careful where you tread.
Yeah, because we might tread into some waters. It might get us. Well, there's this, and I will go back to some comedy as well, because like I said, I can be a good straight man. My friend that did the film This Christmas way back when, Ronnie Warner and me used to hang out in Durham after his comedy club, and I would oftentimes play the straight man. So I'm going to do a straight man joke in this case. There is an entire missing city that if we keep talking about the Illuminati, we might find out that it isn't as missing as we think it is. So nobody knows what's going on in Atlanta. So if I keep talking about this and we find out the Illuminati, me and you may wind up in Atlantis, because Atlantis might be actually out there and they might send us to Atlantis.
Oh, you never know. Hey, I'd visit. I wouldn't take one of them Titan subs, though.
No, please don't take a Titan sub down
there. I want a legit non-carbon fiber hull.
Wait a minute. To borrow the line from the mafia, you're trying to say that you want a round trip. You don't want a one-way trip.
Thank you. That's exactly what I want to say. That is it. Yeah. I'd like to come back.
Yeah, you want a round trip, not a one-way trip.
Have gills.
You're not trying to do a hopper. You're not trying to just mysteriously disappear. Because some people think that the AstroTurf that existed in the old Giant Stadium might be where Hoffa is, since nobody has still found him or anything.
Well, they said that. Then I heard that they cremated him. So I heard that they just took him. Like, you hear so many stories. The cremation one sounds more legit. Like, you would want to get rid of the body, Yeah,
there's enough high-end fire outlets in various businesses that you could probably do it and nobody would know. It'd be kind of like the whole concrete thing. So if you got
dust, I guess, you turn them into dust, pulverize them, and put them into the concrete. It seems legit.
Yeah,
I'm not a professional. It's not my business, but it seems like a solid idea.
It seems like a solid idea. I'm not a professional either. I have friends in many careers. Fortunately, I can say that as far as I know. Notice I said as far as I know, because I don't know everybody's careers and everybody's things that they do. But if I have any hitmen in my friend circle, they haven't told me. But it might be one of them cases that if we tell you, we'd have to kill you. So I'm
Yeah,
not
you better
even
have them
asking the
unknown.
question either.
You don't want to know. If I
Exactly.
have hitmen in my circle, keep it to yourself.
Exactly. I'll just leave it this and let you get back to your news items. But there is a gentleman here in Durham that is a Italian restaurateur, and there are folks that sometimes see the guys with the mysterious coats coming in and all along those lines. So, if he's making deals with the mafia and everything, that's on him. But I'm not really trying to find out and everything.
Yeah,
we can just speculate as to whether it's happening or not based on when they show up and how they show up and everything. But
exactly. Yeah, you don't want to be publicly speculating on anybody.
Yeah, exactly. Folks can guess on their own, but we don't really want to know.
Yeah. We'll leave. When you start shooting, just let us leave.
Exactly.
Figure out who you're after.
If things start happening and y'all got to deal with stuff, then just give us time to get out of the room. Because I hate going to those restaurants or any of those places that you only have one way in and one way out.
No, I like multiple entrances and exits, especially in this day and age.
Exactly. I'm with you on that. So, like I said, I'm going to pop off. I'll give you a hard time, and you got your voice back. So,
well, yeah, thank you. Well, temporarily, we'll see. I know I don't want to get. I'm nervous. I'm still going to try and keep light talk. See how that goes. So I did do. If you have a chance, and it's dark humor. I do political humor most of the time, obviously. But if you go to jeffahern.com, or you probably see it on Rumble as well. I did a story on the Gilgo Beach suspect. He did it. Rex, I knew how to say his name last night. Huerman, I think it's Huerman. And his wife, when confronted, as he's being arrested and the cops are like, well, this is what he did. Her response to this after believing them is, it is what it is. That's just Rex. Yeah, he likes the killing. So, anyways, I did a bit on that. It's up on Rumble. It's up on jeffahern.com. And it was a top 10 list of signs she should have caught that he was in fact the Gilgo Beach serial killer. And I don't know. Did she know? Didn't she know? I don't know. Apparently, this always happened when she was out of town, supposedly. So I guess he could have access to the house or whatever. But at the same time, this guy, from what I've heard and from the stories I've read, he's going out with women here and there, and all he does is talk about these murders and how smart the murderer is. And so I can't imagine that he's just having the conversation with these prostitutes. You've seen the guy, and not his wife. The constant dinner conversation must be Gilgo Beach murder. He's something else, and he's real good. Yeah. Yeah, do you want to tell us something?
How do you deny that? It's kind of like how did Jeffrey Dahmer deny it when he was having meals with his family when there were folks in the refrigerator and everything. I'm sure you had to be inviting people over and everything. And I'm like, what do? You go in there and you say, would you like a hot dog? And while you're at it, there's some other things that are in here that are like the hot dog. So I don't quite get it. Maybe he wasn't as sociable and all in that space. I did have to ask you something, and I'm going to give you some fodder to talk bad about my Democratic friends and everything. But over there in California, apparently a major mass murderer, similar to what you're talking about, was released recently, despite the challenges and everything. So it looks like Leslie Van Houten has been released on parole. It was a member of the Manson family, and that was something that apparently Mr. Newsom did because he dropped the challenges. So I guess because the woman is older and is definitely getting the sunset years, as they like to say, and everything, that he is letting them go. But any thoughts about that? You're in California, so apparently Miss Leslie has been paroled, and of course she is up there in her, I want to say 70s now or something like that.
She killed somebody. She should multiple people. She should, and barbarically. You can change. You can keep her in a nice environment, but she should stay in jail. It's absurd that they'd let her out. Oh, she's reformed. So she slaughtered people, pregnant people. I don't know. I would have kept her in. That's just me. You have to be mean about it. Maybe give her a fluffier pillow, a nicer mattress, but I'm not. Oh, go enjoy your sunset years. Yeah,
You're not going to do that and everything. I was looking online and I actually invited the person. Hopefully, they'll be coming on our news show at some point. But apparently, there was a great business deal that folks didn't know because between LBJ and LBJ did a lot with the civil rights and everything else, and the evangelist Billy Graham. So I did not know this until I was really reaching out to the gentleman and everything. But apparently, there was like one of those secret deals that nobody knew about except for those in the office and everything. So apparently that kept LBJ in the race when he was thinking about leaving and everything. But Billy Graham came by and said, if you say do this and that, then I will throw my support behind you.
That's an interesting, it's an interesting world where you scratch my back, I scratch yours, and regardless of where you stand politically.
Exactly.
It's all about the money in the end, and the power.
Maybe LBJ promised to give him a nice big church building in wherever he was at. I can't remember whether Billy Graham was in Texas or whatever. So maybe he promised him a nice big building if he would deliver the votes from his community, because he's always had a large following when he was living. So maybe he kind of said, you do this, then I will deliver my constituents.
Yeah, I'll give you some more parishioners and tell them to buy your prayer beads or whatever. I don't know what he sells.
Who knows?
I can't remember who sells what anymore.
I don't either. But it was just crazy, that whole thing, because I did see that about Manson. And I knew that you would have fun with Newsom, because Newsom was just the one that apparently said, hey, go ahead.
He's a buffoon. Like, it's just so insulting to everyone's intelligence that he's the governor here. I mean, he helped destroy San Francisco. And like, you look at San Francisco and you're like, oh, yeah, let's make him the governor. How stupid do you have to be as residents of a state to make him that? And now the state's in shambles. People are leaving in droves. There's net migration, or migration, net exodus out of the state, greater than the incoming. So I'm sure there's an easier way to say that. But basically, people want to get the hell out of town.
Speaking of get out of town, I got a question for you that is actually around your town, around your state, but particularly around the area that you are in and everything. There's this major strike going on, and I know that some conservatives are part of it, some liberals are part of it. But what are your thoughts about the writer's strike? Because I know some of the people are concerned about AI and fearful that AI is going to take their job, and all along those lines. I was actually in the clubhouse room, and I think the gentleman is running for treasurer of the SAG, the gentleman that I met and everything in that space, and who knows, I might try to see if he wants to come on Pod TV. I guess he wants to control the money aspect and all in that space. But as a actor, whether you're on the left or the right, I think that there are folks that are concerned no matter what their politics are. So what is your thoughts around this strike?
Oh, well, it's a good thing. It's kind of like a last stand in a way. That's why both the unions are involved in it now, not just the writers, but the Screen Actors Guild as well. Because you got multiple fronts. You got streaming services and you've got AI, and they're both taking lots of money out of actors' pockets because they don't pay nearly as much. The residuals are almost non-existent. With AI, you don't even need writers. I mean, it's not to that level yet, but it's pretty damn close, especially considering some of the crappy scripts that come out of Hollywood. And I'm not big on Hollywood because it's a bunch of liberals, and they don't do me any favors. I mean, I've worked under SAG. I shouldn't say it. I've worked under SAG contracts, so I've benefited from the unionization and having good wages. And I think they have to take a stand here. Technically I'm in the union, so we have to take a stand here. But will I ever benefit from it? No, because I'm not a woke liberal, so they're not going to hire me for anything.
But you're not going to go out there and do a piece, because one of the things I heard that they were concerned about is that the AI will that somebody like an extra can go get a role, and then the studios can have that role for perpetuity, and they can just keep running that extra space and constantly over and never pay for it again and everything. So that's the concern I've heard. I do have to ask you, Jeff, are you going to be running out to go see Barbie? Because I have heard a lot of people that are just running out to see Barbie because they want to go see this Barbie movie, and some people are upset because there apparently is a trans within the Barbie movie, but that is neither here nor there. But are you running
trans to me? I would just assume because it's a woke liberal film. It's Snow White. I did a whole story on Snow White that did really well on Rumble. Had like 40,000 views. Just talking about how stupid that movie is going to bomb unbelievably. The woke Snow White. I have no interest in seeing Barbie with or without a trans person in it. I am going to see The Sound of Freedom. I think that's going to be a really good movie. I know it's going to be a good movie. I met Tim Ballard. Actually donated to him. Operation Underground Rescue, which saves kids. And I watched a piece, because the left is slamming for saving children from sex trafficking. The hell,
sex trafficking is a major issue, and everybody should not be dealing with that. Actually,
please.
A friend that is involved in that space. I'm trying to think of her name, but she's been involved in it for a number of years out of the African American community. And I met her through one of my fellow live streaming friends, Sri Navasan, and definitely she's been involved in that space. So that is a serious issue that needs to be dealt with.
That should be like a nonpartisan issue. That's a I mean, that can't be a nonpartisan issue. And if you're on the wrong side of that issue, what the hell?
Exactly. I mean, I don't know how you can even.
But they pointed out on I think I was watching Russell Brand had him on or something. They were pointing out that like NBC, your supposedly non-liberal networks, NBC, ABC, CBS, were all doing stories 6 years ago about what a great guy this guy was, Tim Ballard, and how he's rescuing all these kids. Now come to today, and they're calling him QAnon this and that, and it's just like, all right, the fix is in. You're all on the wrong side of it. It's awful.
Well, are you rushing to go see Oppenheimer? Because that's the other movie that I've heard people talking about. Because there are people that are calling folks that go to see both. There's a whole trend called Barbieheimer or something like that. So you actually see both movies and all along those lines. So
Mark, that's the Illuminati coming to get you. They're knock, knock, knock. It's the Illuminati. Oh no, he disappeared. Uh-oh. Well, anyone near Mark, send up a flare. Getting to Oppenheimer might be a good movie, but I'm definitely going to see Sound of Freedom. IRS whistleblower reveals who's really to blame for shocking presidential corruption. Obviously, we know it's the DOJ. Well, I mean, the culprits are the Bidens, but those covering it up are those at the DOJ, the deep state, if you will. Detransition boy castrated by doctors warns kids about gender surgery. That's just it. You don't know when you're that young. You don't know. You can't make these decisions at that age. Oh no, you can. And then so you won't see this on any liberal network.
The Illuminati gave me a reprieve, so I'm good. The knock is okay. So there's the Illuminati.
You're still here. Good. They said stop talking about us. And we'll leave you alone.
They gave me a stern warning and a cup of latte. So they said a stern warning and a cup of latte.
Well, that's nice, but careful drinking it.
Yeah, I'm wondering what they put in the latte. So a good point. I might have to double check because it might have some things that have you talking. Hey, who knows? It could be one of those drugs that have me talking to the right. So maybe it's a drug that you would actually enjoy. There might be a drug that have me talking more to the right than to the left.
Now you're
I
talking.
consider myself more moderate.
That's coffee because it wakes you up. It makes you think more clearly.
Well, you keep saying that, and that same lady I was talking about that did the whole job where she was talking around the working and had to be a discretionary person in that bartender in the swinging and sex community was also not understanding, and she's from another country, why we even use the term woke, because she thinks that it's a term that is misconstrued because she thinks that woke, as most people do, which means that you're awake and that you are wanting to be
that's what it
alert
originally
and everything.
meant.
So she was being logical. She was thinking of woke in the sense of the actual word and everything. So I think that sometimes when people hear the words, particularly those that are from different parts of the world, they're going like, well, don't you want to be awake? So I don't know if they understand.
But the left doesn't want you to be awake. They want you to be servants of the state. That's their version of woke. Their version of woke is asleep. Their version of woke is turning over your life to the government, to the status. So yeah, they took a great word and ruined it like they do everything else. Everything the left touches, they ruin. That's a slight exaggeration.
That was an exaggeration because there were things that have been invented from both the left and the right. Don't go there. You know that there are things that have been done well, including some civil programs and other things. So I'm not going to have you go there and everything. And I do have to teach you, Jeff. Because last time I checked, don't you live in the left coast? So you can't really talk because you live to the left of where I am and everything. Because you live on the left coast.
Here, man. I mean, I like the weather, but the politics, you can have it. I'm out. When my son turns 18, I'm out. I'm getting the hell out.
Yeah, but where are
I
you
don't know
going to
where I'm
move to?
moving
If
yet
you
for the
move to
last 20
Utah,
years.
you're still if you move to Utah, you're still left to me.
Yeah, well, I'll have to go. I don't know. I'm from the East Coast. I'm not going back to the East Coast, man. Maybe I'll go to I don't know what's out that way. Maybe I'll go to Maine or
He's going to head to Maine or he's going to head to
Nova
Vermont, but
Scotia.
Vermont's got Bernie, so he might not want to go to Vermont.
I'll ski there. Yeah.
Well, which one? Because is it Vermont or Maine that is where the ice cream guys are? Because they're considered liberal as
Ben
well.
and Jerry, the anti-Semitic ice cream duo that is also Jewish, I believe, which is so weird. But yeah, they're out, and they also want everyone to give their land. Oh, this is great! I forgot I did a story on them because they're just such hypocrites. They're like, oh, I think on the 4th of July, they're like, oh, you give back all the Native American land. It's horrible what you've done. So I did a story like, well, then give back your house because I guarantee your mansions are on Native American land. Are you going to do that? And that was a bit. And then like a couple of days later, some Native American guy, like who is a descendant of people who own the land that one of their homes is on, wanted their house. I don't think they gave it to him. I'm shocked. I'm absolutely shocked.
You're shocked that they didn't give them their house? Well, what do you think?
House.
And what do you think? And I do have family members, including myself, that have part of that is our heritage. But what do you think when sports groups and other groups start off their events with acknowledging the fact that they are doing it on the land that others owned before they got there? Because I've seen that has been something that a number of people do. They will do a celebration acknowledging that they are standing on the land of those that came before them. So is that being too politically conscious, or is that a fair thing to do if you choose to do it?
It's stupid because I know I'm on land that wasn't mine, and that over there is land. I mean, it's a kind of a given. But if you want to be like, hey, it's more like a look how woke we are, or don't get mad at us because we still have an Indian mascot, or what? There's an ulterior motive. It's crap.
Well, like I said, I've been to a couple of events, including some of the places I've been to, and they definitely will acknowledge at the beginning of the concert or the event. And sometimes the events are cultural events, so they are in a cultural nature that it makes sense to make the conversation and acknowledge what is going on. Now, sometimes I will agree that they are going there. You're going like, why are we doing this right now?
Yeah, it's absurd. Like if you really mean it, then just shut up on the microphone, write a check to the local Indian reservation. That'll do a lot more good than your pandering.
Speaking of which, I do have to let you know this because this is some good news, positive news. I was talking to moms yesterday, meaning my mom, and Ollie in that space, and she actually she likes to go out and enjoy some fun recreation like casinos and things of that nature. So her first cousin and the first cousin's husband went and she won. So she made a little bit of a profit. I think she went to one that's in Virginia, which is right across the North Carolina border. And I think she won like 7 or 8 or something like that, 100. So she won a little bit of capital. So that was a good thing that happened that was positive and all along those lines. Now, I will say this, and you might enjoy this. She was bragging, well, not bragging, but acknowledging that she had won. Her cousin was acknowledging that she won as well, a little bit less. And I didn't hear much from Bobby Lee, which is the cousin-in-law and everything. So I'm going like, at one point I'm like, well, Bobby, why are you not speaking? And what happened and everything? He's like, there's a reason that I'm in the back seat, and there's a reason you're not hearing my voice because I did not win. The ladies won, but I didn't win jack. There's a reason that they got me in the back seat.
They got Bobby's money. They both got Bobby's money. Like the casino just floated one to the other.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's it.
But one of the things that I've learned, and I know we're winding down, but one of the things I've learned, and I don't know how you feel about it, but I have not been gambling myself. I've been some friends that have some of the different businesses in that lane, including some bingos and other things. And I'm not saying that I'm against it. I've even bought lottery tickets. I just haven't won. Or maybe I've won $1 here and there, but I haven't won the big money. Even though I think that we're up to close to $1 billion. I think we're up to $1 billion now or some crazy amount.
Well, I think they just won. Like I got $4 on that one.
Okay.
But someone just won the $1 billion. But then that was Mega Millions. Or no, that was Powerball. But Mega Millions, I think, is up around 700 million now too.
Yeah, it's some ridiculous amount. So, like I said, me and you have got to win. But the question I was going to ask is, you do the same thing that some folks do with their betting, which means that do you set a limit? So, do you set a created limit, like you take 20, or I think that's what Mom does. I think that's what some other friends do. So they set a limit, and if you exceed that limit, then you're done.
Yeah. $20. When I go to Vegas, I go for the shows. I go to shoot guns. I go for almost every other reason but gambling. And I give myself a $20 limit, and then I play the slots a little bit. And if maybe I win, maybe I lose, and then I'm done. And then I go back to just enjoying myself. And then, because I see these people in the airports, and they're just like, they have this look like they've literally lost their life savings, which a lot of them probably have, or they're just like, just sitting in chairs waiting for their flight. And you're like, oh my God. I must
Speaking of airports, I got to get to this, Jeff. I know we're lying down, but I got to get to this, Jeff. How does the airports not be prepared for heat? Because, like I said, apparently that was a major issue there in Vegas, where they were having people that were having heat strokes and definitely not prepared. And apparently they were not prepared for the people to be comfortable in some AC while they're waiting for the plane to take off. But I did not understand this. Please explain it to me.
Well, I've been to Vegas airport a lot, and there's like sections. It's compartmentalized where you have some where if your flight's in one area, you're like, oh, good, they got good AC here. But then there's this whole like little long area, which Southwest seems to always fly into, which is hot and stifling. So I always wind up camping out in the cool area, and then I got to walk 20 minutes through this windy thing to get to the heat to get on my Southwest flight. It's horrible. You don't got enough money to fix the airport. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of the Vegas airport.
Well, like I said, the only thing I know about the Vegas airport, I've only been there once to visit a friend. And as I told you once before, stepping off I know everybody has their reasons for going to places, and like neon lights is part of what Vegas is known for, and the shows that you're talking about. Cool. The other thing is, as soon as you get off that airplane, and I've only been there once, but as soon as you get off that airplane, the bandits are waiting for you. You don't even get into the plane, and they're already looking for you. They're like, come on, give us the money. You don't need to get to your hotel. You don't need to visit your friend. Just come and give us the money now.
And there are people just sitting there. You go get your drink, get your food, come back. It's the same woman just popping quarters into the same machine. It's like, all right.
Yep. Cool. Well, like I said, this has been a fun conversation. I'll let you wrap up with any other things you got on your mind. And hopefully you'll be feeling better and everything. I hope that I didn't take up too much of your time with some of my inane comments.
No, I enjoyed it. And I'm glad you're still with us. I was a little nervous when we started talking about Illuminati and you got a knock on the door. I'm like, Jesus, that ain't good. But yeah, so have a great week, everybody. God bless. Good to have my voice back. Thank you as always, Mark. And plugs. Let's do the plugs. JeffAhern.com. Check it out. Support me there. If you join me at the $20 level, I'll do a free rant for you once a month until there's too many people and I can't handle the volume. And then join me on Cameo. Get a Cameo. I'll insult your friends, family, or relatives, or I can even say something nice. I could actually be uplifting once in a while. And I think is that everybody? Is that everything? Oh, I got a show. I think shooting. I have to talk to some people today. A studio show, hopefully starting in September in all places, Mark, Las Vegas. But again, I'm good in Vegas because I don't really gamble. So I like to see the shows and stay out of the sun. All right, everybody. God bless. Have a great week.
And we're going to go out with Jeremy's Razors. So I still have your commercial from them. So we'll go out with them.
Jeremy's Razors on the side. Ahern 15. All right, buddy. Have a good week, man.
Do the same. I'll see you next week. Hopefully you'll be feeling better and definitely having a great conversation. I always enjoy talking to you. I'm going to send you the link to the new show. That's where Jacoby camps out at. So it'll be fun bringing you on. We have conservatives and liberals. I know it's early in the morning for you because it's at 10, which is 7 your time. But I do know that actually Debbie Peterson has been coming in all the way. She was a former mayor there in one of the California towns. I think she's a Democrat, but she's also currently living or at least doing some work and visiting in Honolulu. So she's been coming in at 4 a.m. So if you can come in at 4 a.m., you can come in at 7 a.m. But I'll send you the link, and if you can, hopefully you'll pop in on one of them, and you can be and y'all can chit chat.
I'll pound coffee before.
Sounds good.
All right, buddy. God bless. I'll see you next week.
Sounds good.
Bye, Mark.
Bye.
Hello and welcome to Newsday with Jeff Ahern. I'm your host, Jeff Ahern. Today's top story. Remember Harry's Razors, the company that stopped advertising with the Daily Wire after hearing something as innocuous as boys are boys and girls are girls? They called it inexcusable. Look, I know you're a grooming company, but you don't have to take the grooming part quite so literally. I'm surprised the razors don't come with a rainbow handle and a discount code for a sex change, especially after deciding to put their emphasis on pandering over product. But credit where credit is due. Their product is great at exfoliating. It exfoliated conservative customers right off of their balance sheet. taking a straight razor to profits and leaving a once loyal customer base with a really bad case of razor burn. And for what? Not being in lockstep with leftist wokeism? This has to be the greatest shaving blunder since someone gave Sweeney Todd a chair at the local barbershop. But who can blame Harry's Razors for buckling under the pressure of a Twitter user's complaints? I mean, this guy had 2 followers. Look out, Kim Kardashian. Here comes what's-his-face. And I bet one of his followers was probably trying to sell him crypto. Harry's claimed they were pulling their ads due to a values misalignment. What values? Woke grandstanding? Progressive preening? All you did with this woke publicity stunt was make your entire company as disposable as your razors. Because there's a new shave in town, Jeremy's Razors. Because I don't want another woke lecture. I want a tungsten handle, flip back trimmer, shave fit for a man. Blades sharp as truth that cut through bearded stubble like common sense cuts through liberalism. A razor for deep shaving deplorables, for flyovers with facial hair. A man's razor from a company still willing to admit there's such a thing as a man. Let Harry's go in on the trans market. I guess they figure those guys are going to shave more than most people anyways. Especially if they want to appear even remotely feminine. I mean, it's bad enough you're going to break every female sports record while sporting male genitalia. So why do you got to rub it in sporting a 5 o'clock shadow? It's time to take a stand against woke cancel culture with a great clean shave. And don't forget to lather up with Jeremy's shaving cream before you do. Made with green tea oil to calm irritation and reduce redness. Almond oil, which creates a cushion for your blade. And cocoa butter, which reduces bumps. All available at jeremy'srazors.com. Go there right now and use promo code Ahern15 to get 15% off your next purchase. Stick it to the man, or whatever Harry's identifies as. So head over to jeremy'srazors.com and tell them Jeff sent you.